All right, you're not going to be weird about this once I hit record, right?
I don't know. I've never done a podcast before.
I've tried to do this in so many variations. Dude, one time I was recording this podcast with one of my buddies, and we're like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, so like, what's up with you or whatever? And he goes, nothing. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
No, I'm like,
I like your friend's style. I might have to do that.
No, and then I was just like, all right, well, I guess we won't be talking on this podcast anymore. Or whatever. And then like 3 weeks later, he's like, dude, why didn't we put that podcast out? All right, so you and I are both from Florida, or at least, I mean, I lived there for 4 years. You lived there for
26.
Yeah, too many. And so the way I was telling you yesterday, right? It's like you're from Orlando, the part of Florida where people will do meth and eat your face off, and then I'm from the Panhandle where people will like rob a Wendy's with an alligator.
Dude, I actually saw a story yesterday or maybe you told me, it was this guy walked into like a 7-Eleven to buy a case of beer with a pet alligator.
I've seen that so many times. They used to have down in Panama City, somebody got arrested for jumping into, I forget what type of restaurant it was. It was like some sort of tourist trap that had gators in a moat that surrounded the restaurant.
Was it a restaurant or was it the mini golf place, Congo River?
It might have been
it might have been Congo River.
Yeah, somebody jumped in the river and stole an alligator. That wasn't... Panama City had some weird... There was... When I was there, these 5 guys, like, you know, went out fishing or whatever, and they found, like, a bundle of cocaine that had been, like, dropped off some ship. And so then they got busted, like, 3 weeks later because they opened up, like, their own cocaine ring. Like, they quit... They just quit fishing and started selling cocaine. This is good. We should sit with the dead air as long as possible.
Did you already start it?
Yeah, of course I started
You didn't say, like, action.
Yeah, I didn't want you to be weird about it once we...
Well, now I feel weird.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's what I said.
But we're not just talking about Florida stuff, though.
No, I mean, we can talk about whatever. I mean, you know, but okay, so now we're both... in Boston, I guess, to give the 3 people that might listen to this, one being me, the other being you.
We're also veterans. Well, I'm like 10% of a veteran.
Yeah, I am technically a veteran. More accurately, somebody who's not welcome in the Army anymore. I think that would be the accurate term to put it.
So wait, did you get kicked out?
No,
you made it all the way through?
No, I voluntarily separated.
Did they give you a choice?
There was a few conversations, but you know, it was mutual. It was mutual at the end there. But no, this is not a first responders podcast. We won't be talking about our favorite grunt style T-shirts.
Oh, that's too bad.
Although you are unfortunately wearing an Under Armour T-shirt with an American flag on it, but
yeah, but it's not grunt style.
No, this is an anti-U.S.
imperialism. We're doing that.
This is a DSA official certified podcast.
Okay.
Which I went to. I went to MIT the other day to like listen to a lecture because I had just signed up and the DSA was hosting this event. And so I finally get into MIT, and there was this old guy I'd seen walking around the campus. He was like 80 years old and had a cane. And he comes up to me. He goes, do you go here? I go, no, I'm just like here for a meeting. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm looking for this room or whatever. And he hands me the slip, and I'm like, please don't be the same room I'm looking for. And it was. And I'm like, God damn it. So we finally find the room, dude, and it's like,
so you stuck with this guy now?
Yeah. So now
you guys are buddies.
Yeah. Now we're comrades. We're in it together. I'm like, you know, having the fireman carry him. He's like limping around the MIT campus. But anyways, we show up to this meeting or whatever, and it was like everybody was 85 plus. And then it was like me.
Well, dude, you lived in Florida for a while, so you should be used to old people.
Well, dude, the thing about like where I was in Northwest Florida was it was either like semi-young people or like old Korean women.
Korean?
Yeah, there was a big Korean population, most likely because of the Vietnam War and GIs coming back to Florida.
Oh, dude, that's like the girl that I'm currently talking to.
Oh, what? Her dad was...
Well, he was in Okinawa.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
Japan.
she's half Asian.
Yeah. Why don't you say her name real quick for the podcast, and then we can give the link.
I'm not sure I can do that.
All right, but we were so. I mean, maybe like this is something that we should get into here.
I'll just call her Bashley.
Yeah, Bashley. Definitely, her name is definitely not Ashley.
Not by any means.
Yeah, Bashley. If you're listening, turn it off. Ashley, if you're listening, my cell phone number is. All right, so I mean...
Well, before we start, I'm just going to clarify that nothing has happened yet.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has transpired in between.
Okay.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. So you meet...
I meet this girl. What did we do? Oh, we went to go to a sushi restaurant.
Was that your idea or her idea?
It was her idea.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't had sushi in a while, so it was okay.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that'd be like wicked offensive if you were just like,
no.
Hey, do you want to go get some traditional cuisine or something like that?
She made it, actually. She brought it to the restaurant.
She brought her own sushi to the restaurant.
But anyways, so we did that. I think at the end of the night we kissed. And then that weekend, last weekend, we went to a bar with my buddy and we played pool and everything. We went back to my house and, we had some sexy time. So it was good.
Why'd you say like that's like
sexy time?
That is
what do you want me to say?
That is the weirdest way you could put it.
Well, how would you put it?
That's like how a 45-year-old man whose Facebook profile is just like an extreme close up on his face would put it.
Well, that might actually be my Facebook profile picture.
That's gross, dude.
Okay, well, anyways.
All right, but the next morning I was over because we were sort of working on your short film.
Yeah, and she hit me with a text that was, I would say, unwarranted.
Now, at what time?
This was like 10 or 11 a.m.?
Yeah, this is the most outrageous part to me. It's just like how egregiously early. She had left like, 4 hours prior to that, maybe?
I'm going to feel really bad if she listens to this.
How is Bashley gonna know? We're not using her real name.
That's true. Okay. So, anyways, I get this text, and all it says is, "Do you like having your ass eaten?" I can't.
At again
11 a.m.
11 a.m.
It's not even lunch yet, and she has asked me if I like to get my ass eaten. Maybe she was hungry for lunch or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, needless to say, I have not yet. So we'll see where it goes.
No, but I mean, how did you respond? So you just text her back.
What? Well, you weren't you the one that?
No,
what
did
response?
I try to say in that? I told you were supposed to ask her.
Oh, what she's into? What all she's into?
Yeah.
I mean, she's into some rough stuff, like rape fantasy stuff, bondage, ass play, obviously.
I think you're setting yourself up for like a Gone Girl situation here. Did you see that movie?
I did actually. Yeah, dude, don't tell me that.
No, this might be
Neil Patrick Harris. He gets stabbed in that movie. Like,
yeah, there might
during
be
sexy time.
There, these text messages that are transpiring might just be like a trail of evidence to set you up, and I won't be able to come to your defense in that one.
Well, maybe I'll have a new experience at least under my belt before this.
Prison will be fun.
Yeah, and plus I'll be used to anal play by that point.
Yeah.
Thanks to Bashley.
Well, speaking of Bashley, I've sort of had this theory, right? Like if you consider, I mean, this is my great philosophical theory, right? About
this is your great.
This is the one that I've thought out the most.
Okay.
Right, and that is that the way you can tell that we are at the end of civilization, right? If you think from an evolutionary perspective, I don't want to get too technical here, but
it sounds intellectual.
From an evolutionary perspective, right? Like sexuality is one of the most important things to like the human race, right? Technically, reproduction.
I can agree with that.
Right, and so when you think about the weird stuff that humans have like developed into doing each other, right, or doing each other with, or whatever. in my personal opinion, I think ass eating is quite literally the last frontier of this sexual evolution, right? There's nowhere. How do you get dirtier than that? I don't see it. And so for me, I don't take it lightly. For me, it's the marking of the end of whatever era we're in currently.
And I just want to clarify, this is your great philosophical.
Well, it's my great in that being it's the one I've thought.
Okay, I'm glad you've thought deeply about this. I feel like you should make a book.
Well, nobody's talking about it, and I think that the comet that will come and destroy us and turn us into dinosaurs is Nicki Minaj saying she would let Drake eat her ass like a cupcake.
But it does give you a nice visual
of Nicki Minaj.
I mean, if you think about it as an artist, those were some key words to throw in there.
Yeah, it came out of like left field. I think it like gained in popularity a long time, and now it's sort of like
Dude, I'll say this: if Bashley eats my ass, I really hope it's like a cupcake.
Jesus Christ. For who?
Well, think about it. If you're eating a cupcake, like you're enjoying yourself. I would like her to at least enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the thing that you're not thinking through about this, though, is that it's likely going to have to be reciprocal.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're right, dude. Maybe this is the end of civilization as we know it.
No, I'm pretty sure it is. That and Fitbits, we're just going to eat ass and count our steps until, the rapture comes or whatever. Fitbits.
Fitbits?
Fitbits.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know.
I used to have a thing against Fitbits. That's what I would do for like the first 10 minutes of my stand-up act when I lived in Florida. I would just scream about how people with Fitbits are like the dumbest people on earth.
Well, I'm glad I've never had a Fitbit. Jesus.
Well, I mean, it's just like people just like mindlessly counting their steps day
Is that all a Fitbit is?
It is. I mean, you can get like pay more for like, it'll tell you like your heart rate or whatever. But the big thing is it like supposed to tell you how many steps you've taken in like one day. And so I don't know if you've ever like met anybody who's like wearing a Fitbit or whatever, but they're just like hyper focused on how many steps. Like you can't have a conversation with them
without them.
No, because
looking at their steps.
They're constantly looking at and then they'll be like, oh, okay, I gotta like walk or whatever, and they'll just like walk.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so that to me is like another disturbing trend.
I feel like that. Well, I feel like that's one of those things where maybe if you do get it, it's probably only going to last like a month.
A Fitbit?
Yeah.
Well, for me,
I can't imagine for 365 days out of a year.
People do it.
Counting my steps.
I mean, it's a huge... I don't even know how much like money they're raking in, but...
I mean, you could just work out for 20 minutes a day and be okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's...
Or, get your kettlebell over here and work out once a week.
Yeah, hey...
Which looks like it's paying off, by the way.
Yeah, it does look like it's paying off. Thank you very much.
You look like you were in the Air Force.
My cholesterol numbers, I actually look better now than I did when I was in the Air Force.
Oh, well, you stopped drinking. Yeah, you had to stop drinking.
Yeah, I had to stop doing everything, which I don't know how long that's going to last, but...
Well, I'm here to help you in either direction.
That's good. That's exactly what I need. I need a sponsor here that's going to be dedicated to...
One way or the other. You just let me know.
Yeah, well...
And if you ever want your ass eating, I know somebody.
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm just here to help. Not me personally.
Oh my God, dude, this is going to be the worst recording ever.
I have references.
This is good, though. Let's get all the bad stuff out first.
Oh, well, I feel like we're about halfway through that.
Yeah. So we've been going like back and forth on the title of this show or whatever it's going to be. But first we were just going to like tell stories about like living in Florida or whatever and like the insane stuff that happened or whatever. And I was like trying to think of like all like the crazy things that like happened to me in Florida. I remember we got this new kid to our unit. And so some people had taken him out drinking that night because we all thought he was 21 because he had shown everybody his fake ID or whatever. Shit. And so eventually they get to this one bar and the bouncer was like, no, like it's...
I'm surprised because usually they'll let you in.
Yeah, but I mean, where I was in Florida, it's like spring break paradise or whatever. So sometimes they can kind of be hard asses. But so anyway, so they go and he's with one of my buddies who I won't say his name because I'm not sure. We'll have to like recheck the statute of limitations.
But I can
on a
say
lot of this
Bashley.
stuff. Well, I mean that's not a criminal act or whatever. But so
Okay, go on.
So they go and so he calls his wife and he says, "Hey, can you come pick us up or whatever? We want to go home." And she's like, "Yeah, I'll be there in like a half an hour." Well, apparently that was too long because the man was becoming like comatose next to him. And so they called. There used to be this, or it probably still is, Airmen Against Drunk Driving. I'm sure they have it like in the Army or whatever. But so you volunteer every weekend to like pick people up for free. So like if you're in a bind, you call like this number and then somebody comes. So that's what they did. They called this number and this kid showed up, right? He was like 19 years old. He was this little Asian guy who had joined the Air Force like to get a citizenship, right? So he wasn't, he wasn't like a citizen yet. His English wasn't that great, but he was driving for Airmen Against Drunk Driving. And so they get in the car and they're driving for about 5 minutes. And this kid in the backseat who's like now just possessed reaches over and starts choking out the Airman Against Drunk Driving driver. Has him in a full headlock. The kid pulls off the side of the road, right? Rolls down his window and climbs out of the car. Doesn't even open the door. Leaves the entire car locked.
Oh, fuck.
And so my buddy's back there sitting.
Wait, were you in the car?
No, I wasn't.
So this is a third party.
Yeah, I lucked out. Yeah, this is a third. This is as accurate. You can imagine this story got told quite a bit. But so he chokes him out, and this little Asian guy jumps out of the car and takes off running. Right in the middle, it's probably like midnight, 1 a.m, something like that. And this kid now, who's like, for some reason, like I don't know like what possessed him to do this, right? But I guess the Asian kid was just talking about like how he was gonna like marry his girlfriend or something recently, and so he just starts choking him out. Well, after he climbs out of the window, the two of them try and get out of the backseat of the car, but it's locked, right? Because the kid just jumped out of his window. He was so scared, and so the guy who's now comatose, right? Hammered drunk, climbs into the front seat, climbs out the side window, and starts chasing him down the road.
Oh my God.
In like chubbies with no shirt. Right? So he's got short shorts on, no shirt. They're running down Eglin Parkway, right? It's the main strip in town. And he's chasing after him, and there's this shack. I forget what it was called. It was this sex shop or whatever, called like Intimate Moments. It was the store. So anyways, the Asian kid runs in the store. The shirtless guy follows him out. He runs through the other exit, and then they're running down the street. And all of a sudden, the police just show up. The sheriff's department like swarms like the parking lot of this club that was right next to the sex store, and like has everybody on the ground and puts everybody in handcuffs or whatever.
Fuck.
Well, some woman had seen this like transpire from the road, and it called 911 and said there's a half naked man chasing an Asian dude down Eglin Parkway.
This reminds me of that scene in The Hangover.
Which one?
When the Asian guy jumps out of the trunk of the car.
Oh yeah, because they had kidnapped him or
off,
whatever. Yeah. That's a good. Did you see any more of those? Did you see like the second? Or the
yeah, but none of them were as good as the
No,
first
they all
one,
sucked,
to be honest. The first one, though, that was golden.
I remember. I forget how long ago I watched that, but we watched it at like some middle school party or whatever, and I thought it was like the coolest movie.
Yeah, and you were like, I want to do that when I get older.
Yeah, I want to be a degenerate alcoholic and gambler, and that's where I became.
That's right where you went.
That's right where I became. I didn't even have to go to Vegas, dude.
Just go to Florida. And
just go to Florida.
You'll fall into some dark places no matter where you go.
I used to go to this dog track, the Ebro dog track or whatever, which was a poker room upstairs. But they would still like, Florida just made it illegal to like race greyhounds, but back in like 2016, you could still race the dogs. Or 2000,
they made it illegal?
2015. Yeah, 2000 when
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the 2016 election, they voted to like legalize marijuana and make greyhound racing illegal, or it was this like most recent election. But anyways, this is back. So at halftime though, or whatever, like I would sometimes bet on a dog while waiting for a table to play poker. But at halftime, you could sign your kid up for the event. And so
your kid?
Yeah, dude. So they would race kids. So in between dog races, and you could bet on the kids. They would like assign them numbers, and they would run like it was like half the track or whatever. And the age was like, I don't know, 4 to 9 or whatever. And it was like the wildest thing I had ever seen. That people like parents would sign their kids up to like do this 100-yard dash at the dog track.
Just hire an Ethiopian kid and bet on him, or Kenyan.
Yeah,
Who are the fast ones?
Well, I don't know if it's that, if it's nationality specific.
Well, we should tread lightly.
Yeah,
right
no, this is gonna be bad. Yeah, I can already tell. This is not gonna be good.
Oh, I'm just picturing these kids running down and their parents cheering them on while they make money off of them.
That was the greatest thing ever. No, that was like probably the most fun part of Florida.
Did you ever bet on any kids?
Oh yeah, I always
didn't bet on the dogs. You just bet on the kids.
I bet on the dogs one time, and I remember the guy was like, pick like the spread, because if you pick the spread or whatever, like the top 3, you get paid either way or whatever. And so when I went to like pick the dog, I forgot to like tell them to like just cover or whatever. And so the dog I got like won 3rd place or whatever, and then I didn't get paid. And I was like, oh, never gonna bet on dogs again. Same thing with Keno. Have you played Keno up here? They don't have Keno.
What is Keno?
Keno is this like thing in Massachusetts where you just like sit in front of this TV and different numbers pop up. And you fill out a card, you like put down what numbers you want, and then if you get like 5 in a row, you get so many dollars. If you get like 4 in a row, you get like less money. And then if you get like 1, you get like no money.
So you sit in front of your computer.
For not even your computer. So it's like at a bar or whatever. Or they used to have it at like this mall we would go to, this like giant flat screen TV, and there'd be like, 18 retired dudes just like sitting in front of it all day, playing game after game. And I played that like a couple of times too, but that wasn't really as fun.
You never made any money
at Keno? No, I like when I played cash for poker. There was times where I'd be like up $1,000 every once in a while, but then towards the end, I was just like playing with my paycheck and losing all of it, and having to drive Uber. When I lived in Florida, dude, I can't take an Uber ride anymore. I'm blacklisted from Uber. I can't drive for them or get a ride with Uber.
How did you get blacklisted as a driver?
I stole my roommate's identity and started driving Uber as him.
Okay. Well, but just out of curiosity, why would you take your...
So Uber wouldn't approve like my license. I've been trying for like months. And because I like switched my licenses recently, like I couldn't have a full driving history or whatever. And so my roommate had signed up for Uber, and he was like, okay, well, why don't you just drive for Uber as me under like my account, and we'll like take shifts. So I'd work like the first half of the night and he'd work the second. Well, one day, and then of course, like, okay, so every time you pick somebody up, right, they're like trying to correlate the face with the driver.
Yeah.
And so people would get in and be like, you're not my driver.
This actually happened to me like, I think it was Saturday. I ordered an Uber Eats, and it was supposed to be some lady named like, I forget. It was like Shaniqua or something. And it ended up being like 2 like grown, strong ass men like handing me my pizza.
They both showed up.
Yeah, it was. They were in a minivan, both sitting in the front seat, and the guy in the passenger seat passed the pizza to the driver, and the driver passed it to me.
Good for that. So, but people like kind of like get like a little nervous or whatever. So I was just like it's just me. I'm like, no, that's me. I don't look anything like my roommate. He's like 5'4", blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm like, 250 at the time.
You can't even play it off.
Yeah, so I can't even. So eventually, like, somebody must have reported me like enough, right, that I'm driving around and this alert pops up. It's like, hey, like, take a selfie. We just want to verify like your account or whatever. And so
did you take the selfie?
Yeah, I was like, because it wouldn't let you like take any more rides until you took the selfie. And so I was like, okay. So I just took a selfie of my face and it was like, thank you. And then boom, shut down so like my IP addresses, because I moved up here and I like just went to take an Uber and it's like, no, you can absolutely not take an Uber.
You had to know that what they were trying to do if they're asking for a selfie.
Well, I didn't think it was gonna be like that big. I thought it was just gonna like change the profile picture or something. But
Did you smile?
Dude, it was like a different car too, right? So like,
oh my god,
he had this like black Honda, and I'd show up in my blue Chevy Cruze, and people would just like be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
So you can't take rides anymore either?
No, I have to go with Lyft now.
Oh, well, there's a lot of Lyft around here.
Yeah, maybe we can try and get Uber to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah, they might actually do that because we're big time.
Driving for Uber was in Florida, dude. Like most of the time, you were bringing people to like buy meth. I remember I once picked up this woman. She was like 67 years old.
Oh, this is the one that...
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, she's like 67 years old. She is wasted, right? It's like noontime. She's drinking like some sort of like Yeti Rambler, like just full of booze. And she gets in the front seat of my car, which is already kind of a red flag. And also did not mention that I wasn't the driver. Like just had I just rolled up. I'm like, yeah, I'm your Uber. And she gets in. So we're going to Ponce de Leon from like Niceville or Fort Walton Beach or whatever. It's a 45-minute ride through the woods. You know, it's like this 2-lane road, nothing around. It's through like the ranges for the military base. And we're 10 minutes in, and she keeps asking me, she's like, "Are we there yet?" or whatever. I'm like, "No, lady. You've hired an Uber to take you 45 minutes out to like East Bumfuck." And so we finally get on like the highway portion of it, which is just like this abandoned road. And she keeps asking me like if we're almost there yet. And then she just passes out. And all of a sudden I feel her hand, dude, in my lap. And I look over at her, and for a minute, dude, in my head, I'm literally like, am I going to have to fuck this chick?
Yeah. She might have been the one that reported you.
And I'm like, I didn't do anything, dude. It was, and I'm trying to like think, I'm like, no, dude, there's no way I can fuck this lady, dude.
You said she was 60?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she might have been older than that. But
she might, yeah. She had some experience on her belt, maybe.
But I push her like back into her seat, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" or whatever. She's like, "Yeah, I just get nervous in cars."
So she reached into your lap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, this is so we finally get to like the town, and which is like trailer park town, and we're driving around, and she has no idea. First of all, trailer parks, like the roads aren't necessarily mapped very well.
Right.
And so we like cannot find this. And she has no idea where she was like, "Oh, I'm going to my boyfriend's house." I'm like, "Well, have you been here before?" She's like, "No." I'm like, this is the weirdest.
Fuck.
So I pull into a Publix and I'm like, "Okay, we're here." And she's like, "Oh, thanks," or whatever, and gets out of the car.
You took off.
Just take off.
Were you at least close?
Oh, I don't have no idea. I could not. That she could be still wandering around to this day looking for her boyfriend's trailer.
She's sitting in a Publix parking lot right now.
That was like that was one of the weirder ones. I one time I picked up. It was like my first or second Uber ride. I got called to pick up this person or whatever. It turned out it was a group of 3 kids, you know. And I'm like, it's like 10 in the morning or whatever. And it's this group of like 3 kids, and I'm like, what the fuck? And we're going 2 minutes, so we're driving them like from the beach like back to their parents' house or whatever. And this girl goes, "Oh, do you have like an aux cord?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. You can. Here's the aux cord or whatever." And then she starts playing the song. What's that song? "My back, my neck, my pussy, and my crack."
Oh, yeah, that's
blasting that through my speakers. I'm like, dude, if I get pulled over right now, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life.
How old were these kids?
No,
at least, but they were like teenagers.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
Okay.
But you should not old enough to be like in an Uber. But that's the thing, dude. They don't tell you like who you're picking up, where they're going, or whatever. It's just like you just get this notification that's like, "Yo, Tom wants to be picked up here," and then like you just like are expected to like go pick random. That's the thing with like Uber. Like I won't drive for Uber anymore because. Because
you can't.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. Legally, I'm not allowed to. But, like, in Chicago, like, this dude picked up this 16-year-old girl from Walmart one time, and she hacked him to death with a machete.
What?
Yeah, dude. He started driving. He picked her up from Walmart. She took a machete out that she stole from Walmart and started hacking at him.
16 years old?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, but that stuff, like, happens all the time.
Well, I know that there was like some stuff going on with, I think it was assault, like sexual assault or something like that. and I think Uber was getting a bunch of negative feedback about that.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear anything about a machete.
Well, dude, it's like the whole concept of like getting in an Uber is just like you're getting in a stranger's car. You know, it's like I don't know the difference.
That's true.
I don't know the difference between like getting in a taxi driver's car and getting in like a stranger's car, but
well, I feel like if you're a taxi driver, you have to get certified and
you
all
have,
sorts of
like,
shit that nobody's gonna want to go through if they're a piece of shit.
Yeah, and clearly Uber's selfie to identify yourself security policy
It's not working out.
is only strong enough to catch me.
Yeah. Yeah, the low class criminal. Oh shit.
All right, you have a trip back to Florida, don't you, coming up?
Yeah, I got a bachelor party going on. May 9th or so. We're going on a cruise to the Bahamas.
How long is the cruise?
So it's gonna be I think 3 or 4 days. This will actually be my first cruise. I've never been on one.
It's gonna be a nightmare scenario, dude.
It's gonna be terrible.
It's gonna be a nightmare scenario. A bachelor party on a cruise. I mean,
I heard that there's a lot of girls on cruises that can get a little wild.
I don't know, dude. It just.
Have you been on a cruise?
I haven't for this particular reason. Like, you can't go. Imagine you're gonna have to drink nonstop.
Well, we have all you can drink.
Yeah, on a cruise, dude. You're not going to have a moment. You're going to want to jump overboard after 24 hours.
Dude, no.
After you have your 35th daiquiri, dude.
Okay, just because you go on cruises and drink 35 daiquiris and want to jump overboard doesn't mean that's everybody's experience.
Pina coladas.
Oh, okay. Maybe you just have a drinking problem.
Yeah, I mean, that could be.
That might have been the reason why your cruise was not well. But no, dude, I'm excited. I'm meeting up with a bunch of my old Floridian friends, so it'll get interesting.
That's what I'm nervous about. I'm thinking about going back to Florida for a few weeks here, but I think that could just end.
All your friends are just going to take you right back downhill.
Yeah,
to where your dark times were.
Dude, I ended my time in Florida living on the floor of my buddies. I have my comforter spread out on the floor, and we just smoked weed and drank all day. And then, a week into that, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And then he tried to send me, he used to grow, or probably still does, right? But had, a bunch of mushrooms or whatever, psychedelic mushrooms that he used to grow. And so when I finally left Florida, he, put, a federally illegal amount
what, in your bag?
Mushrooms in my bag, dude. I was like...
Were you going on a flight?
No, but I was driving cross country, through multiple states with a trafficking amount of mushrooms. I had to throw them out of McDonald's, dude.
Did you not know about them when you left?
No, not when I first left. And then I finally, he was like, "Hey, I left you something in your bag." I was
you're welcome,
dude. Fuck.
You're over here trying to be a better person.
Yeah,
you've got this excess of shrooms in your bag.
Yeah, no, it took me a while. When I left Florida, I made sure to bring a case of Jameson fifths with me because it was so cheap. Jameson down there was $20 for a fifth, maybe. Jeez. Probably less. And then up here, it's $40.
Yeah, I remember Jameson used to get me in a lot of trouble down there. Actually, remember when I told you about the whole guitar that I stole?
No, so you told me you stole a guitar.
So, do you know the Supervillains, the band?
No.
Maybe I shouldn't be broadcasting this because I think they've been looking for me for a while. But the Supervillains, they're I don't know, they have a beachy kind of rock vibe. They're a good band. But we went to spring break. No, not spring break. I think they were just having a concert in New Smyrna Beach. So we went to New Smyrna Beach and we stayed at some hotel. And for some reason, I had bought a bottle of Jameson, and I remember I drank a good half of it. And I had the bright idea to wear a Lieutenant Dingle costume. So, I mean, we're talking short shorts. I've only worn these shorts twice in my life, and both times it was the one time I was gay. And we ended up going...
Wait. So you've worn the shorts twice.
I've been gay twice in my life, and both times I wore those shorts.
You've been gay twice.
We'll talk about it later. But anyways,
I feel like you're glossing over a large portion of this story.
So we go to this concert, and outside, their tour bus was outside or whatever, and they had security over there. It was just one, maybe two security guards. And I walked up to them. I was super drunk at this point. And for some reason, they asked me, "Are you the extra security?" I said
short
yes.
shorts.
Yeah, I said
in
yes.
a Reno 911 costume.
So I ended up on the tour bus for a little bit. And, geez, I honestly don't remember what all I did. And then the next thing I remember is I'm on the stage with the band, and I'm making sure they're okay. Like, are you guys good? Like, everything's checked and good to go. And then the next thing I remember, I was outside, and me and my buddy Adam, we were about to get in a fight. I'm blaming all this on Jameson, by the way. And then I think a few hours later, we went to a couple different bars, and suddenly we get a call from one of my other friends that went to the concert with us. And he said, "Dude, what the hell did Johnny do? Like, what's wrong with this guy?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Apparently, I stole the guitar from the band and I hit it. And they had posted on Facebook about some tweaker in a Lieutenant Dangle costume who stole their guitar. And New Smyrna is like a small community, kind of. So people were posting all on their posts on Facebook talking about where I had been throughout the whole night. Like, yeah, I just saw this guy at this bar. I just saw him at this bar. They started making fun of me, saying my ears were big. One guy said he was going to Lieutenant Dangle me over the bridge, and just all sorts of terrible. Good pun. It was terrible. I felt bad, not like about what I did, but also about myself at this point.
Did you keep the guitar?
No, I hid it behind the bushes, behind the bar.
Oh my God.
So I didn't take it. I guess maybe I just wanted to play a practical joke on them that they didn't find very funny.
Yeah, I guess.
So anyways, my buddy Adam, the one that I almost fought, I guess saw me messing around by the bushes. And that's why he was like getting ready to fight me. So he went and made a fake Facebook account and messaged them and said, "Hey, check behind the bushes. I saw him like messing around back there." And they found it. And needless to say, I'm good now.
Oh, well, that's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending.
That you don't have any active warrants out in Florida anymore.
Well, I don't know. They might still be keeping an eye out for Lieutenant Dangle.
Yeah, I still have yet to confirm whether I have an active warrant out of like Texas or not. I used to just like when I used to drive through Texas, I used to take like the toll roads or whatever, but I had Mississippi plates at the time, and I like was 4 addresses past where those plates were registered to, and so I probably owe like thousands of dollars of tolls in Texas.
Yeah, you have a bunch of tickets out.
Never received.
Oh shit.
But I mean, that's not the. Yeah, I mean, you know, like we shouldn't tell like all the stories here or whatever. But
yeah, and now you have basically just brought up the warrants out for your arrest in Texas. So,
well, I mean, we'll have to save something. So I don't know. I think this is like a fine format or whatever that we can.
Yeah.
Keep doing and just bullshitting around, and I guess we'll call it Carpool Bukkake from here out.
If we come up with a new name, we can always change it.
Yeah, Carpool. I mean, I like it. I just don't think it's going to be good for when I put it on my LinkedIn profile or
for
whatever.
Our reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But should we come up with something to say at like the end of every episode or whatever to the 4 people who are going to listen to this?
I don't know. Do you have something in mind?
No, I don't.
I mean, so maybe something that refers to Bukkake.
Come on, guys, or whatever, you know.
Come on?
Yeah, come on. Dude, there's this sign. I'm driving. So my brother lives in Quincy, and he lives like downtown Quincy, and I was driving there one night, and I look over out my window, and there's this tutoring center called Kumon Kids. KUMON. KIDS, Kumon Kids, except the O is like a smiley face too. And so I take a photo of it and I'm like, dude, how is this not Come On Kids Tutoring?
Okay. I don't know if we can broadcast this.
No, this episode is sponsored by Come On Kids Tutoring.
And Uber.
And Uber. Both of which I'm banned from.
Yeah. And the supervillains.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right. Well, I mean, fuck, what time are we at here? We're at like 39 minutes or whatever. I think that's fine
pretty
for
good.
the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people would probably want to listen to less. So, all right. Yeah. Here we go. See ya.
Thanks, guys.